Up next, the WHL show with Gabriel Neumann.
Welcome back to the WHL show. My name is Gabe Neumann, and today we're going to be doing the recap for week number 20. Last week we did week number 19, so if you want to check out and see what the WHL was up to last week, feel free to go check that out. This week, however, we are going to be going over the last week, the previous week up until this point. So the point standings, player stats, league standings, etc., and also some general news and things that have been going on around the WHL. So, today we're going to start with the player of the week, who is Igor Sidorov from the Saskatoon Blades. He had 7 points in 3 games, 3 goals and 4 assists. A little bit about him. He was originally selected by the Blades in the with the 20th overall pick in the 2021 CHL import draft. He has played 101 career WHL games so far and has 97 points in those 101 games, 56 goals and 41 assists. He is eligible for the upcoming 2023 NHL draft and was ranked 86th among North American skaters by NHL Central Scouting, and he is second among European-born players in the WHL with 62 points, 33 goals, 29 assists. And among the Blades, he is the first in goals and power play goals with 13, power play goals with 14. So definitely a great player. He, for the past week, however, more specifically over this more currently, he has collected, again, 7 points, 3 goals, 4 assists. He had the Blades collected 8 out of 10 possible points on their BC road trip. So they had a 5-game BC road trip and got those points there. So the first game this week was on actually Valentine's Day, Tuesday, February 14th, and he had 3 points that game with 1 goal and 2 assists in a 5-2 win over the Prince George Cougars. He was named first star of that game. He had 4 more points his next game, which was that Friday, February 17th, and a 6-4 win over the Victoria Royals. So good for him. Congratulations to him. And definitely keep an eye out for him in the upcoming draft. Also, another note that I think is really interesting is that if you're looking at stats and players that are ranked C, as you could hear, he was drafted in the import draft and is a European-born skater. However, he's ranked 86 among North American skaters by Central Scouting, and the fact that it's because he plays in America, not that he is American. So I don't know. I think that's a fun little tidbit. I didn't realize that until this season, actually. It was just something that I never really thought about. And so although he is not North American, he's a North American skater because he plays for a North American team. Yeah, it's good. It's fun to think about. Anyway, on to our goaltender of the week. He is going to be Lethbridge Hurricanes goaltender Brian Thompson. A bit about him. He was originally selected by the Hurricanes in the second round of the 2017 WHL draft, so he's been in the league a bit longer. He holds a career of 53, 37, 4-2 record, a 3.00 goals against average, .902 save percentage, and 4 shutouts. And that is in 105. Oh, same, actually, around the same amount of games played. 105 regular season appearances with regular season games. So maybe he's been in the league longer, but he's played about the same amount of games just because goaltenders and you know how they switch out and all that fun stuff. So over his last 8 outings, his last 8 games, this isn't necessarily over the past week. It's dating back to January 15th, my bad, January 15th of this year, 2023. He has allowed 1 goal or fewer on 6 occasions and has a 6-1-1-0 record, 1.25 goals against average, a .960 save percentage, and 2 shutouts across that span. So as I mentioned earlier, with the 4 shutouts in his WHL career, and then 2 of those being within the last 8 games, definitely showing improvement and some growth there. So that's really awesome. So one of those shutouts was actually earned this week. He only allowed 1 goal in 2 of the games he played, 2 of the wins this week, and got 1 shutout. He started his week with his shutout, actually. He stopped all 36 shots he faced in a 3-0 win over the Calgary Hitmen and earned first star of that game. 2 nights later, in his second game of that week, he stopped 30 out of 31 shots in a 3-1 win over the Brandon Wheat Kings and was named second star for that game. So congratulations to him. Definitely another name and player to look out for. And yeah. So now going on to league leaders or points leaders. These are for the players who have been scoring points, getting those assists, or the goalies who have been the top with their goals and their statistics. So if you are just now joining in the show, you know that I do this almost every week, and we compare them to last week. So this last week, I didn't have any to compare them to because the week before I had guests on, and so I didn't do a recap of the point standings. But this week, I do have them. So this week in points, again, as we go through, they're the same names more or less. So they kind of fluctuate a little with the numbers, but the names stay the same. So number 1 is of course Connor Bedard from the Regina Pats. He has surpassed 100 points. He has 105 for this season, which is incredible. It was last week. First place was also Bedard with 91 points. Second place this week is Zach Benson of the Winnipeg Ice. He has 81. Last week, it was actually Logan Stankoven of the Kamloops Blazers. He had 76 at that point. Now he's in third with 79. Goals, Connor Bedard is in first again with 51, so he is past 50 goals, which is awesome. Last week, he had 48. Assists, again, Connor Bedard with 54, and he's actually tied with Ben Zloty of the Winnipeg Ice. They both have 54. Last week, it was actually Zloty who was in first with 53. Now they're tied again. Logan Stankoven is in second place, and he is tied with Zach Benson this week for second place with 52 assists. Last week, it was Stankoven with 49. Goals against average and save percentage for our goalies. So for goals against average, it was Austin Elliott of the Saskatoon Blades with a 1.97 save goals against average. And last week it was him as well. It was Elliott as well with a 2.01. So his goals against average has gone down, which is really great. Scott Ratzlaff of the Seattle Thunderbirds is also in second place and with a 2.15. His save percentage has also gone. Oh my gosh, I keep misspeaking. His goals against average is also down with it was 2.21 last week. He was second place last week as well. So first and second are the same. Their numbers have just both gone down, which is great for them. Save percentage. Now I'm on to save percentage. First place is actually Connor Unger of the Moose Jaw Warriors with a 0.925. He was also first place last week with 0.925. Obviously, that hasn't changed because he hasn't been playing. Last week, we did talk a bit about the situation with the Warriors and the 4 players who were suspended indefinitely. There were a bunch of rumors flying around, and I talked about it, and I promised an update if we had one, but I have not seen one. So again, next week, if I have any updates, I will make sure that I communicate those with you guys, but I have not seen any new information come out. So if I miss something, feel free to let me know, and I would love to learn about it because, of course, I am also curious, as I bet most of you guys are. So feel free to talk to me about that, and I would love to hear it if I missed it, but I don't think I did. I've kept a keen eye out. So back to the statistics here, the leaders. We had Connor Unger in first place again. He was first place last week. He's first place again this week. Second place is the same as it was last week again. So the goaltenders looked very similar to what it was last week. Thomas Milic of the Seattle Thunderbirds. This week, his save percentage was a 0.922. Last week, it was a 0.920. So he has gone up and his numbers have gone up. And so that is super great. Now for standings, I don't know why I didn't start doing this sooner. I feel like it's something that is obviously a given that I need to cover, but for standings, our standings for the Eastern Division, basically all of these are except for like one or two, or it was like 2 or 3 things that changed. These are mostly the same from last week. So in the Eastern Division, Winnipeg Ice are in first with 89 points. Last week they had 81. Saskatoon Blades are second with 78 points. Last week they had 72. Third is the Moose Jaw Warriors with 69 points. Last week they also had 69 points. Central Division, Red Deer Rebels with 78 points. Last week they had 76. Second place is going to be the Lethbridge Hurricanes with 66 points. Last week they had 62. And then third place are going to be the Calgary Hitmen. They had 55, and last week they had 53. US division, Seattle Thunderbirds are in first place with 86. Last week they had 78. Portland is in second with 77. Last week they had 76. Tri-City is in third with 59. This is where the change is a bit different. Last week, last week Everett and Tri-City were tied. Everett is now in fourth with 57, and Tri-City has gone up to third with 59. In the BC division, we have the Kamloops Blazers in first with 78, Prince George was in second with 54, and then the Vancouver Giants with 48 in third. Last week, Kamloops had 72, Prince George had 52, and Vancouver had 46. So for Eastern Conference, those were just the divisions, obviously. And for the Eastern Conference, first place is Winnipeg, second place is Red Deer, third place is Saskatoon, same as last week. Western Conference, that's where it changes up a little bit. This week, it's first place Seattle, second place Kamloops, third place Portland. Last week, Portland was second, Kamloops was third. Overall, we have a tie. First place, like we did last week. First place is the Winnipeg Ice, like they were last week. Second place is the Seattle Thunderbirds, like last week. And third place this week is going to be Red Deer, Saskatoon, and Kamloops. Third place last week was just Red Deer and Portland. So that's changed up a little bit, but that's really the only difference that we have comparing those two weeks. So look at those standings. Tell me what you guys thought. I'd love to hear thoughts about who has made the playoffs so far. Who do you think is going to be the next to make playoffs? I know the Tri-City Americans will make playoffs. They will clinch their berth in the playoffs if the Seattle Thunderbirds beat Victoria in, I think, regulation. So they have to. So are Tri-City going to be next? And tell me your thoughts about that. Tell me what teams you're a fan of and what you're watching for and who you're rooting for. Always very excited to hear. Now for our CHL top 10. So this is the whole CHL, and I talk about the WHL teams, of course, because this is the WHL show. What else would you expect? So we have 4 teams in the top 10 this week. In first are the Winnipeg Ice with a 44-7-1-0 record. The third is the Seattle Thunderbirds with a 41-9-1-1 record. And then in seventh are the Kamloops Blazers with 36-10-4-2 record. Honorable mention who aren't technically in the top 10, but honorable mentions for a good reason. Saskatoon Blades with a 37-13-3-1 record. So first, talking about the Winnipeg Ice. The Winnipeg Ice had a perfect 4-0-0-0 week, a lot of O's, and 23 goals scored. They remain the top-ranked team in the CHL. So they had a 5-3 win over the Swift Current Broncos on Wednesday, a 7-1 victory over Moose Jaw Warriors on Friday, a 7-4 victory against the Regina Pats on Saturday, and then their family day was a 4-1 win over the Swift Current Broncos, 4-2 win over the Swift Current Broncos. Over their 4 wins, Zach Benson and Matthew Savoy each had 7 points, which is incredible. And right now, their 44 wins this season are tied for the CHL lead, and they have currently won 7 straight. So they're definitely a team to watch out for, doing really well this year. Now for the third team, the second WHL team, but the third team in the standings are the Seattle Thunderbirds. So they also had a 4-0-0-0 week. Perfect. I might have said too many O's with the first one. And they also had 23 goals scored. So they have pushed their win streak to 6 games. They notable names for them: Lucas Siona, who scored twice in a 4-2 win over the Tri-City Americans. Dylan Gunther, who has joined the Seattle Thunderbirds, scored the overtime winner against the Tri-City Americans. The final score was a 4-3 win, and he scored the overtime winner. And then in a home and home with Victoria, the Thunderbirds scored an 8-1 win and a 7-0 win. Where those numbers are they're great. Kyle Kinkovic, or notable names for those: Kyle Kinkovic, Jared Davidson, and Grayson Sachin. They all had 2 goal weekends. Great job. Seattle is just the second team in the WHL to this season to record 40 wins. So the Kamloops Blazers, who are the seventh in the standings, and seventh in the standings, third for the WHL. Sorry, for this week, they have gotten off to a perfect start last week with 3 consecutive wins. So of course their second half was not the greatest, but first half was great. Notable name for them, Olin Zellweger, of course, who had 4 points, 1 goal and 3 assists, and a 7-4 win against the Red Deer Rebels. That was on Friday. They also had a 4-1 victory over the Calgary Hitmen. And then on their family day, the Blazers took down the Edmonton Oil Kings in a 7-3 win. I just love high-scoring games. It's insane. As Dalen Keffler and Dylan Sador each scored twice, as the team's win streak reached 9 games. 9 games. Great. And for our honorable mention, we have the Saskatoon Blades. They have re-entered the rankings for the first time since week 16. So great job to them. They're coming back up. A couple names for them, actually, a few of them to note were Jordan Keller, who had 2 goals on Tuesday in a 5-2 win against the Prince George Cougars. Igor Sidorov, who of course was the player of the week this week, who had 4 points, 2 goals, and 2 assists in a 6-2 win over the Victoria Royals. That was on a Saturday. And then on Sunday, Connor Roulette he got the game winner to secure a 2-1 lead over the Vancouver Giants. Right now, the Blades are, with 37 wins, are tied for second most in the WHL. So, and now on to general news in the WHL. I have just 3 things this week, technically 2, because 2 of them I'm netting together. So the first one will be a couple videos discussing the orange jerseys that were worn in recognition of First Nations Night, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to actually play a couple videos for you guys. I think that they are really awesome.
The Orange Jersey Project is incredibly excited to partner with the Western Hockey League to help educate today's young athletes about the history of the Indian residential school system, strengthen the path toward truth and reconciliation, and promote the physical and mental wellness of Indigenous and non-Indigenous youth through sport. By creating a conversation about the question, why are we wearing an orange jersey, we have the power to change how Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities live together.
To me, the Orange Jersey Project is about educating people about what happened with residential schools and creating an environment where everybody feels accepted and included.
The Orange Jersey Project to me is an understanding, and for people non-Indigenous and Indigenous to get that recognition of residential schools, the effects it has on past generations and future generations, and even to modern day. And I think it just spreads awareness for all people.
The Orange Jersey Project to me is, it's really heartwarming. My family and my friends being all Indigenous, coming from smaller Indigenous communities and having us wear these jerseys, having the team and the league represented. It's truly, like I said, it's very heartwarming. I'm really, really grateful to be a part of an organization that recognizes these, the truth and reconciliation. I'm really excited to wear them, and to me, it means a lot, and I'm really looking forward to it.
As an older player, it's important for me to show the younger players what the Orange Jersey Project really means and the importance of it.
I think I would tell the kids that are just learning about the Orange Jersey Project that it's important to acknowledge the events that have happened in the past. It's a movement that started here in Kamloops, and it's important that we reconcile here in the future.
that was just some really cool videos that I think that are super important and really great that we could hear from both the founder and also the players that don those jerseys. So really good on them, and really glad that that's happening, that happened and everything. So if you want to learn more, feel free to check out that website that played or that was shown at the end of those videos. Definitely will give you guys a lot more resources to look at and learn about those. So we are now going into my last little my last little section of the day. Actually, Connor Bedard, who got his 50 goals this season. And there is another video for that, and I'm going to show you that. I think this one's a little bit of a longer one, but it's Connor Bedard, so it's a lot of fun to watch. So have fun with it.
Bedard is the first one on it. Bedard races to the net and scores. Bedard skating up the ice, looking at the empty net, scores. Believes with it, cuts middle, on his forehand, wrist shot, he scores. But this is their sixth-man advantage. Alexander Suzela plays it across. One-timer, they score.
Shovels it across the slot. Bedard scores! Down low, Vallis to Bedard. Scores!
Down to the goal line, Tanner Howe looking in front. Bedard on the one-timer. He scores. Bedard heading to the goal, takes the pass. Bedard scores!
Point, Berg's wrist shot knocked down in front. Rebound, Bedard will score.
Now to Bedard. Left circle to the net. Shoots, he scores! Left circle, fakes the shot. Now he'll take the shot. Scores! Left side, Bedard in the slot. Shoots, he scores! Walked in front of Remba, couldn't get it home. Still loose, Bedard to the net. Scores!
Puck up top and now down to the goal line. Pass, a sharp angle shot, and they score. Sneaks under the blocker arm of Gage Alexander. Feist on left wing, looking backdoor. Puck deflects on goal, and Bedard goes through the legs and scores.
Center back in front. Howe between the legs. Bedard scores!
Slows it down. Bedard all alone in front. Deep shot, scores.
Pat's intercepted the neutral zone. Here comes Bedard in a hurry. Bedard cuts in to the net. He scores!
Trying to catch him as Poole. Bedard's in alone. He shoots. He scores. Connor Bedard is on the board. Kept in by Bateman. Now Howe sets up Bedard. He scores. He's got two tonight. And a steal and a goal for Bedard. He's got the hat trick.
And stopped at point blank again. Scores. He got the return pass and put it home. Bedard in, pulls and shoots and scores. Yeah, that's what we knew was possible.
Shulev up the right side of Connor Bedard. Bedard drinks and shoots. He scores. Here's Bedard. He shoots. He scores. Welcome back. What a shot by Connor Bedard.
Left wing side, Howe. In front, Bedard, wrist shot, he scores.
Point. Top of the slot. Feeds it across. Bedard rips the shot. Allen's top of the right circle. Centered in front. Scores. Here we go. Here we go. Bedard scores. Over the blue line, right side. He shoots. Scores. Now to the high circle. He shoots. He scores. The level of the line to Bedard, to the net. Bedard scores! He's got a breakaway. Here we go. Bedard scores! Bedard gets it back. Left circle to the net. Scores! Now a lead pass. Bedard's got a breakaway. Here he comes to the net. Scores!
Connor Bedard, left circle now, drags to the middle and fires. He scores.
Clears it down the ice for Bedard. Potential breakaway to the net. He scores! Left side to Bedard, right side, scores! Walking to the circle, nice little move to the high slot, shoots, scores! Back across, looking for a deflection, it's not. Rebound, Bedard scores! Now Bateman, left point, a shot deflected, scores! Hat-trick, Connor Bedard!
Connor Bedard, he's in on a breakaway behind the defense. Bedard, backhand, forehand, scores!
Bedard defending the boards here by Keegan Slaney. Gets it back, scores!
Vallis backdoor, Bedard scores! Bedard, he's over the blue line in the slot, cutting, he shoots, he scores! Over the Moose Jaw line, right side drags, scores! Now Vallis over the line, centered in front to Bedard, but he got tangled up in front. The puck goes in though.
Bedard at the left circle, driving wide. Stops up behind the Raider net. A bad angle shot, scores! There's no such thing as a bad angle when Bedard shoots. Bedard walks to the middle, fakes it, takes it, scores! Connor Bedard has 50. That one pinballed around in front and found its way through Hildebrand.
That video and the ones that I showed before were courtesy to the WHL. Just wanted to make sure that you guys know that. So obviously, as you can tell, 50 goals this season, which is absolutely bonkers. Great job to him. In total, he right now is sitting at total career 119 games played with 114 of those goals, with 114 goals scored in those games. He also has 119 assists, so he averages 1 assist per game in his whole career, which is really great. So great job to him. Got his 50th goal of the season, and of course there are many more to come. And with the upcoming draft, absolutely excited to see which team ends up taking him. That's another thing that I am very excited to see. So tell me what your thoughts are. Who do you think is going to get him? Will it be Chicago? Will it be Anaheim? Will it be Columbus? Let me know your thoughts. I would like to know. I've heard a lot of talk, and and so I am very excited and eager to see which team will take him, and who lucks out. So yeah, great time. So thank you so much for watching this week, for tuning in this week. Really appreciate you guys. If you stuck with me all to the end of this episode, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. If you want to see more and hear me talk more about the teams and talk to players and fun stuff, feel free to reach out to me. Give me some suggestions on what you want to see on the show is for you. And I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, questions, comments, concerns, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to tune in next week, same time every week, 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, PST, Pacific time. And yeah, make sure you tune in next week. Hit me up on Twitter, and I will be seeing you then. Have a great day.